Yo, what's up guys, 2K Blue here. Today we have some kind of a video like a Roblox racing game review. We have multiple games here that I would like to go over, and this is just a video that I really wanted to make because I've been into the racing mood all of a sudden thanks to quarantine. So let's jump right into it. For the first game we're going to go over is called Project Trackday. It's a beautiful game from the aesthetic part of it. The game doesn't feel like Roblox, which is something I really like. It gives the feel of a racing game without having to pay for the big bucks. The mechanic part of the game being cars is really good. Of course the physics isn't up to par with most racing titles besides maybe NASCAR Heat 3, but that's something to expect with Roblox. The handling of the cars makes you feel like you're actually driving the car. This is all of course removing the part of Roblox being more keyboard based and some controller. To be fair, when I was going over all these games I didn't use a controller, so the feel might be different for certain controllers. The track part of Project Trackday is the key essential immersive part of the game. I mean, I would hope that the tracks would be good having tracks be a part of the main title. The pros of Project Trackday are the cars feel good, and there's many different cars and they each feel different. The tracks are amazing and the aesthetics are really good. And also the weather affects the track. The cons? The sounds are a little loud, but that just might be my computer with my audio being a little funky than others. The HUD is still good, but it takes time to load as the game has to load with it. Would be cool to see a little loading screen while the game is loading to prioritize that loading before the game in the background type deal. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's a little low on the track side, but in the Discord they have been teasing more tracks. Overall, Project Trackday is one of the best racing games on Roblox and it's very underrated. Link in the description to the games and all the games that I am going over today. The next game is Jackal Racing. This game is one out of the many NASCAR related games on Roblox. Some backstory to Jackal, since I know very small amount, but I still know some backstory to it. The game was intended for league type races. They released a public version of Daytona, which a lot of people play during the day. And a quote from the description of the game: so many people requested to test my cars, so I made this for many reasons. So people could test my cars, come here and race friends freely, so racers can come here and do their own fun races without needing me when I'm busy. Most of the fan base of the game is from America, which tells you why the hot times are between 10 a.m. EST through 6 to 9 p.m. EST every day since the outbreak decided to welcome itself to the world. In the review, if you would call it that, I will be going over the Jackal Racing Daytona game. Jackal Racing has many tracks, mostly are for the league, but you need an admin to teleport you into those tracks if you want to play on the public servers. Jackal did for a short time have a game called World of Racing, which had everything from F1 to go-karts. The game closed due to Icky, the creator, shutting it down for an update that everyone is still waiting for. Personally, I'm not, but in the Discord many new people who joined continue to ask about it. The Daytona track is huge compared to most of the Daytona maps on Roblox. You might ask, isn't this track a free model? These cars look like free models, etc, etc. Well, from what I know and understand from talking to people in the community, from the start and the inception of Jackal, is that the cars are legitimately made by Icky and other devs with the track. I've seen pictures of the tracks being made. If that helps, it helps my case at all with this. The pros of Jackal Racing are that the cars are really good, being developed over the years. The tracks are like real life counterpart. They have a league. From what I know, Project Trackday has a league coming, but they're not ready to release it due to the amounts of tracks. The GUI is really nice and informative. You can change what you want to do in the pits, etc. The admins are really nice from my experience and just want to have fun all the time. The community is very welcoming, which is something that I really look forward to when joining a new community. I feel like that's very important. The cons: it can get boring over time with the Jackal Daytona. There are many trolls that want to go backwards because they don't want to read the description of the game. and it's kind of hard to get races started, but you just kind of got to go for it. NASCAR 20 Daytona is the next game that I will be going over. This game is one of the work in progress games that has many flaws in its system. NASCAR 20 Daytona has a play to get cars feature, which is really smart but also dumb at the same time. If someone wants to get the dreaded Kyle Busch 18, then they will need to race over 100 laps just to get a paint scheme. Now this is a good and bad thing for the game. I really think that it's up in the air with this one, because you'll get constant players playing the game until they realize they wasted their whole entire time doing 100 laps in a car that spins out and takes forever to get up to speed. By the time you get up to speed, which on this Daytona map is basically 200 miles per hour, you have done at least a full lap, if not two. The cars go super fast on the Daytona map with the speeds, of course. The track's aesthetics aren't really that bad, but comparing it to Jackal's Daytona, the main reason Jackal doesn't have the aesthetics, which I think it may have, is because it's basically a car test game, and it basically is just a racing game. They do it just mainly for the leagues. Just in my opinion, I think it's because it's just for leagues, and plus the main game is just a test, just for car tests. I may be really critical of this game, but it's for a good reason. NASCAR 20 Daytona could be a really good game if it had a loyal mod/dev team, with admins on for the most of the day. The reason for all the trolls is that if you look up Daytona in the Roblox game search bar, you'll see NASCAR 20 Daytona as the first result. It isn't because of having a higher player count or higher rating. Both at this time of recording, with Jackal next to it, does not pull the same numbers of players or the same rating, as the rating is down 1% on NASCAR 20 Daytona, and at the time of recording they had at least half of what Jackal had. I think that the Roblox game search bar sees Daytona, compares it to Google, Daytona mixes it with NASCAR, and then they put those two keywords together, and guess what you come up with the search? NASCAR 20 Daytona. The year, NASCAR, and Daytona, all keywords filter with that result, puts NASCAR 20 Daytona up before Jackal. I just feel like the game has more potential than it's showing, and I can't wait for the future of all these games. The pros, there's many cars to choose from. They have a pace car, the flag stand has actual flags that you can carry around, and there's different teams to be a part of, basically different roles inside the game. The cons is that the track lighting is very buggy, cars take forever to get up to speed, there's trolls that have no reason not to go backwards on the track. I couldn't find anywhere it said not to, and there's barely admins on, and there's very little admin help. Overall, the game has potential, but it isn't filling it in. I may have been critical of more games than others, but it's just my opinion. If you guys did like this video, I would really appreciate a like and maybe a subscription. Also, if you want to see more, tell me down in the comments below, and I appreciate every single one of you, and peace.